Oh, dat valt goed mee. Dat valt goed mee. Voor degenen die er niet bij waren, dus al de rest. Hè. Het is heel eenvoudig. Nadat ik haar heb aangekondigd, zou ik graag hebben dat zij een daverend applaus krijgt. Tak mag er gerust af. Als jullie nadien vragen hebben, steek gewoon je hand omhoog. Ik kom top bij u met de microfoon. Stel je even recht en stel je vragen in het Engels, indien mogelijk. En dan, dit is de kans van je leven om alles te weten te komen wat je van deze dame te weten wil komen. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most beautiful stars from Baywatch. Please welcome Erika Eleniak.
How is everybody? Good? It's nice to sit down. Okay, let's start. Yeah.
Well, maybe we could start first with how you got the part of Baywatch.
Okay. So, generally in the film industry, television industry, there's a protocol, but it's always different. There's really no rhyme or reason. But that was very traditional. So audition, audition, audition. I think maybe 6 times. So you have different sort of phases. You know, you'll audition for casting, producers, director, and then sometimes you have the network that's going to be airing. At that time it was NBC. And then you have the financer, the production company. So you're auditioning for everybody. So I think 6 times. Yeah.
Does that bother you, having to go in that many times?
Well, you know, I don't know if bother is the word I would use, but it's very, very nerve-wracking. And I say it all the time. As an actor, auditioning is a completely different job in and of itself. If you give, 9 out of 10 actors the job, they'll knock it out of the park. It'll be amazing. Is that necessarily true for auditioning? No. Because you have so many factors, variables that can sometimes work against you. I mean, it's a very a nervous process. So if you can stay focused and you can keep your energy up and not let your nerves get the best of you, sometimes so many things that you can't control. The casting person might be very distracted and half there, it just depends. So all those things can kind of throw off your game. It's not my favorite process, that's for sure. Yeah.
What is the favorite process?
Working. Yeah.
And what was the project you worked on with the most, the finest memories?
It's been 35 years, so there's a lot, but I think that my most favorite film to work on was the Beverly Hillbillies. Definitely. That cast, I just went to work myself in awe every day. We had, iconic people in that cast. Jim Varney, Cloris Leachman, Lily Tomlin, Dabney Coleman, Dietrich Bader, Rob Schneider, and I know I'm leaving out more. Leah Thompson. They were just such great people, so I would go to work every day just wide-eyed, great director. I got to work with animals on that film, and I love animals, but I will say, I think I was near attacked by almost every animal I worked with on that show. I remember the opening scene, and these are things, you don't see up on film with the finished product, but I remember at the very beginning of the movie, I had to jump into this water, and we were up in the mountains. So it was freezing water. This was take your breath away water, and I had never experienced anything like that. And it was when you get wet, especially I was wearing a wig, and it's a big thing to get soaking wet if you don't get the take. Because then you have to start over. Makeup, dry a wig, put it back on. It's a very long process. So in other words, the pressure is on to get it right the first time. And I remember we had the camera set up across the pond of the water, and there was a deer waiting, just grazing, and there was a secret little area of food. So I was supposed to jump in the water, swim delightfully, get out of the water, grab the secret food, feed the deer, and that was the shot. So the camera's rolling and they call action. I jump into the water and I was like, my breath was gone. it was like someone punched me in the stomach because the water was so cold. And I was scared, I was panicking because I'd never felt that before, and I really couldn't catch my breath. So I was like, so I'm like, I think I'm gonna die. And I keep swimming, trying to look like I'm, enjoying it thoroughly. And I get out of the water, and I go to the place where the little food is, and I hear this sound. And I'm thinking, oh, I don't know what that is, but I think it's coming from the deer. I'm thinking, that's bad. I have this bad feeling in my stomach that that's a signal to stay away. So I have to keep going. So I have the food, and I'm approaching the deer, and this sound gets really loud. And I go to the deer, and the deer rears up and starts trying to kill me. Meanwhile, we have a tent, that's planted behind, so the animal trainers were always very, very close. So of course I call, God, and then he comes over. Anyway, I was not attacked by the deer, and we got the shot because they were able to cut it from that point, so I didn't have to get in the water again. But we had many things like this on the movie. But honestly, it was such an amazing experience. One of my favorite experiences ever. It's just that movie was so full in so many different ways. So, long answer, but there you have it.
But you got the shot.
But we got the shot. Yeah.
There's a lot of young people here, so I'm sure not many of them know this, but you're actually in E.T.
Yeah, I am in E.T. That was 1982. I was 12, do the math. And yeah, so in the film E.T. there's a couple scenes at the bus stop. Elliot's going to go to school. And while Elliot's at school, simultaneously, because he feels everything that the creature does, E.T.'s at home getting drunk and watching television. So Elliot's back in the classroom, and he starts feeling these things and getting woozy, and I'm the little girl in the classroom who's disgusted by his belching, and my eyes are rolling, and then they free the frogs when we're going to do the, chloroforming the frogs and dissect them. So he goes crazy and frees the frogs and kisses the girl, and there's a shot of John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara at home on the television that E.T. sees, and they do a kissing scene. So back in the classroom, then Elliot grabs the girl, which was me, and kisses me.
But you weren't of equal height?
No, we were not. I was 12 and he was 10, and he was in a girl haters club. And, which I need to point out, because I was traumatized by having to do the kiss. He was traumatized because he hated girls at the time. He was only 10, the girls are icky and germy, but boys were far germier, I remember. And so Steven Spielberg had to close the set, and he went and talked to me and my mom, try to, make us feel as comfortable as possible. And same with Henry. And it was a Steven Spielberg brilliant moment because there was such a great height difference, like a foot between us. I was taller than Henry. At the last second, when all the frogs are going crazy and all the mayhem's happening, this poor little boy, Steven goes, come here. He has Henry push him down so he falls and stand on top of him. So that was a complete, improv moment that we created there. But then we were same height. So he stood on the back of the little boy.
But it's a very memorable moment, and it's amazing to think that it wasn't scripted.
Yeah, just that's Steven just, working. And it was so funny. It just fit together.
Well, we're ready to take some questions from the audience. Have you got any?
Anyone?
Oh, they're also shy.
Don't be shy.
Hi, I'm Jan, and I would like to know regarding Baywatch. Did you make friends on the set of Baywatch, and are you still in touch with them?
Oh, yeah. I tell you, my most favorite thing about Baywatch was the cast and crew. Yeah, we became a family. It was really like a brother and sisterhood. That made it. Because it was a difficult show to shoot, and especially for me when I started with the show, so it was a 2-hour movie first. then it was a season on NBC, which at the time was the most conservative network. So in order to get sponsorship, everything we did was by the book. The suits were regulation. This was before it went syndicated. So having said that, we shot in the wintertime. It was freezing. It was like this outside. And I remember being in the water on the record coldest day of the year. It was like 55 degrees. Our lips were so blue they couldn't use the footage. And that's when they were like, maybe we have to get a water tank. You know, for some of the, we were sort of the guinea pigs. Because of that, you know, we really relied on each other. And that, we had such a good camaraderie that made, you know, you just do it. You just do it. You suck it up and you do it. And so, yeah, the crew, amazing. And do we still keep in touch? You know, oddly enough, the few people that I sort of talked to on occasion, I didn't even work with on the show because I left after their first syndicated season. So I did 2 years and a couple of their movies, you know, to introduce the next season. But I still speak with Gina Lee Nolan, but we did not work together. I speak sometimes with Alexandra Paul. I see Donna D'Errico sometimes, but these were, you know, I didn't work with them. So, yeah, on and off over the years. Some of these conventions bring us together. Yeah.
Now, you were quite a young actress when you started movies like Under Siege,
Yes.
Chasers. Were you awestruck to work with these actors that were your co-stars?
Well, I started working as an actor when I was 10. And I probably worked maybe 2 jobs a year. And then right out of high school, I really hit the ground running. You know, I went straight to Baywatch out of high school. And right after Baywatch, Under Siege and the like, you know, Beverly Hillbillies, Chasers. Always, you know, that's one of the things I feel so blessed for the career that I've had, and one of the greatest things for me is being able to work with some of the iconic people, for me, you know, like Tommy Lee Jones, just such a brilliant actor. So to be able to go to work and just watch their process was pretty cool, yeah.
Probably a good learning experience as well.
Very much so, sure. And there's, you know, there's little odd things that you remember from each person that they kind of become a part of you, you know. You collect them, like all of us in life. You know, we collect our memories and relationships that you have. You take pieces that just stay with you, and it might be one thing, but it just makes you more and more and more full, you know. And so very much that way when I work with people, I try to go like a sponge. You know, just to kind of take it all in.
Are you still acting now?
The door is always open. You know, it hasn't been my main focus. The last few years I have been teaching. I teach acting to kids in an academy and teens. I had an adult class for a little while, but a lot of them got jobs and went off to college. But I teach mainly kids and teens. And then up until May, for the last 3 years, I have been teaching acting as a form of therapy to kids in rehab for substance abuse and behavioral issues. So I'll go in and help them kind of find their voice. And that's been a big passion. I'm in school. I'm a C student. That stands for Spiritual Enrichment Education. So I can get my license to teach metaphysics, which is my passion. That's spiritual. It's so difficult to explain, to describe, but I'm just a big, big believer in what we don't see. That's just my big passion. So, yeah, and I'm writing a television show right now. I'm in the middle of a treatment and trying to get all of that craziness pieced together. And so a lot of different things that keep me super busy. Plus, I'm a single mom of a 10-year-old, and that's my heart. I mean, that's for you moms and dads out there. It's like, you know, that's your first world. That's everything. Everything goes around that. So, and it takes a village. So that's really, it keeps me quite busy. The acting door will always remain open. I have an agent, I have a manager, we keep the headshots current. You know, I mean, it's there. But that game also has changed a lot. And a lot of people that are, especially my young actors, they say, give me a piece of advice. You know, there are so many beautiful, talented people in this world, so many. Perseverance. You know, when one door closes, 3 more will open. You just got to keep knocking on them. And if that's your heart and your passion, you just can't give up. Because it's a very, very difficult business, especially today. It's changed tremendously.
Right. Any more questions? This truly is a Sunday crowd, isn't it?
Yeah. Questions, or else we have to go. Anyone? Hello, by Tinkerbell from.
Hello, my name is Susan, and I would like to know which parts would you like to play in the future?
That's a great question. I feel really grateful because I've had to work for it in order to have some diverse parts to play. I've had to work for them because once you do a role like Baywatch, or you take on roles that are sort of the ingenue, kind of, you know, about a look or something, it's challenging to get really meaty work. You know, you have to prove yourself. I got to play a boxer in a film, a real girl who was in an abusive relationship, and she became a boxer. And it was a serious role. I did my own fighting. It was a very low budget show. I had to train for 4 or 5 months prior to the movie. I got hit. I broke someone's nose. It was a crazy experience. It was crazy, but it was amazing. And that I love, you know, sweat and no makeup and just going for it, putting yourself completely into someone else's life. You know, that's so different from your own. I love roles like that. I still love action, although I have so much damage in this body, nerve damage from stunts gone wrong, and I have nerve damage in my wrists from a stunt going terribly wrong. I've got a severed, I've had a severed tendon in my hand. I have nerve damage in my knees. My ankle's messed up. So having said that, my favorite roles are action films. I still love it, but I'm 47. And so maybe not so much. Maybe slow it down just a little bit. I would love to see some relationship movies come back. You know, we're so CGI and big special effects, and I love it, but I miss kind of the 70s style of filmmaking, you know, where we had character-driven movies. So I think maybe a great love story like that, you know, would be good. I don't know. Anything good.
That treatment of the show that you're working on,
yeah.
Is that something you would be involved in on screen as well?
I'm thinking about it. You know, it's because it's so much work, and I originally thought, yes, that I would definitely want a big piece in that, and then it sort of has diminished to maybe a reoccurring that would come in. And I'm still on the fence about that. You know, I'm happy being behind the camera and working that aspect of it and letting other people, for sure, be in the spotlight. So I don't know yet. Maybe a small role, but definitely not big. Yeah, would be television series. So, and nowadays too, the series, you know, where is it affordable to film? Not always where you want to film. That's what ends up happening on the picture, you know, and that's why there's so many, they call them runaway productions that film all over the place, you know, even from the States, North Carolina, just kind of Florida, obscure places, not Hollywood, not LA, not New York, but all over where it's more affordable to shoot. Sometimes you have to do that. And I would not uproot my child. That I would not do. All of our family is in California, and we're dual citizens with Canada. She was born there, but we're home now, and I would not uproot her. And for a television series, you have to do that often. So, yeah, I don't know exactly.
Speaking of affordable shows, I believe you told us yesterday that Baywatch was at the time one of the most expensive shows that was produced.
Yes, extraordinarily expensive because it was such, you know, it was an action show, and there was always an A story and an B story, right? So one of them was always action-driven, you know, speedboats, helicopters, major rescue scenes, a lot of money involved, you know, for all of that. So it was a really expensive show to film. And we were doing it, it wasn't CGI. You know, back then especially, you're out, if you see a speedboat, and it's a speedboat. It's not like something that was sort of painted in, you know?
Any future project that you still have in mind that you would really, really love to do if you got the chance?
This television show right now is really my heart. I would love to see this happen. And that's it's such a big undertaking, you know, especially from this end of it, which is new to me. It's all new to me. And I've had the pleasure and the honor of being able to write a little bit over the last couple of years. I wrote a children's book called What Do You Do If You Lose Your Lollapaloo? And that was really fun. And then I was asked to co-contribute to a book written by women from all various sort of walks of life, contributing their stories of struggle and challenges. And so it's called Making It in High Heels, Women of Philanthropy and Charity. It's their 4th edition. And writing that one chapter was a huge eye-opener for me because it was just a chapter and it was so much work. Because as soon as you're done, then they have rewrites. Then you do the rewrites and then they send you more rewrites. Then you do those rewrites, and at this point you're like this, because you can't even look at it anymore, and then there are more rewrites. So, writing the treatment of this television show, there's a major formula and format. And if it's not perfect, they will not look at it. So trying to I love this, I read this. You have to have what's called a log line, which is basically maybe 2 sentences. That's gonna grab the person you're pitching to, you know, your audience. Tell them something about your show. In two lines. Someone described it, a writer described it as vomiting in a thimble, which is exactly what it is. It's like trying to fit such profundity into something this big. It's so challenging. So that's where my head is at for a while, I think.
Well, we'll be on the lookout for it.
Thank
I
you.
think I speak for everyone in the room here that we are honored to have you with us. And I would like to thank you for being at F.A.C.T.S in Belgium.
Well, it's my pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, Erika Eleniak.